Yeah, good morning, guys. Today we are going to discuss about the one climate of India. So, as generally we listen and we see in the newspapers, televisions, like freak weather, offshoot weather reports, how the regions are going to get various types of effect and impact, like rain shadow region, thundering rains. So all various types of the information what we get only through one what we call weather report. Indian Meteorological Department has regularly when we go through the news channel we find that Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, the maximum and minimum what type of temperature is going to be find or seen, that we can come to know. So these all are only the one. And what was the importance and what we are going to discuss about the one is climate of India. We are knowing about our country, how the climate is seen or found in our country. That's what we are going to discuss in this. So in this comparison, first let you know about the two importance, the difference between climate and weather. What variations we can find the difference between climate and weather, that what it denotes clearly. Like generally, the climate what it represents means a period of 30 years. A period of 30 years, the climate what it refers or shows to us. But whether it may change day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute, second to second. Usually, like when we see early in the morning we feel cloudy, the noontime we see sunny, and the evening if you see sudden burst of rainfall. So all these are the variations what we can notice. They are especially related to one what we call weather. So these two variations what it says the difference between weather and climate. And here these are the elements of climate and weather what it differentiates and it makes us clear. The first one what we call it as sunshine. As you know that the sun which emits light and heat in the form of energy what we get the one what we call sunshine. The sun whatever it radiates, whatever we are receiving the light and heat, so that is only the one, as you know that is what we call sunshine. The next one what we call temperature. Temperature is nothing but the relative state of heat and coolness. Temperature denotes what means the relative state of heat and coolness. Like whenever you are suffering, when you go to a doctor, doctor will test you with a thermometer. What type of temperature is present in your body, that we can come to know only the one what we call temperature. Not only that, atmospheric pressure. As you have already learned in the lower classes, air has weight, air exerts pressure. Like take a balloon, blow the air. So all these what it says means what is the capacity of the air, like how a balloon can hold the air in that. If you go and blow the balloon, ultimately the balloon bursts. Like while if you see the bicycle cycling also, when you pump that, so ultimately when you pressurize that, that will be uplifted. Like when we are taking the bath, if you take the jug or mug, if you put in the opposite direction and if you see that, we observe the weight. So all these are only because of atmospheric pressure. The next one is called wind. Moving air is called wind. Moving air is called wind. Then followed by next called humidity. The amount of invisible water vapor present in the atmosphere is known as humidity. So this is one more element. And clouds, precipitation. The primary mechanism of rainfall, that what we get the one what we call precipitation. So all these are only the one what it denotes and says clearly the different elements of climate and weather. And in this you can have more variations which makes you clear. The climate period easily represents a period of 30 years. 30 years time span in which we can identify and say that how the climate is going to be rougher. So based upon such type of climate only, the weather and climate can be known, the differences, like climate which makes what means seasons, the year which is going to be divided into seasons, summer season, rainy season, spring season, autumn season, winter season. So all these are the seasons which is only based or depend upon the one what we call climate. So that climate, a period of 30 years, it is not for 1 day or 2 days. So like suppose if you are feeling this is winter season, then the season continues. But whereas there in weather you may find summer season, rainy season, winter season. So such type of differences what we can easily differentiate. But whereas there in the climate, it shows particularly a period of 30 years or more than that. So that's all what it says regarding the two differences between climate and weather. Not only that, here we can represent both, like weather and climate can be used as showing the pictures, what we call that as climographs. Weather and climate can be shown by using the pictures. Any picture if you want to show. So such type of pictures, whatever you are going to be represent, that is called climograph. And then in this climographs, it shows the important things. What does that mean? Climographs is also known as climatograph. And this climatograph, what it makes means, what is the maximum and minimum of temperature and rainfall. So all these are the variations what we can come only because of climographs or climatographs. So that denotes what means the difference between maximum, minimum, high and low. You may represent temperature or rainfall. Rainfall is nothing but big drops of water falling from cloud is known as rainfall. Rainfall is measured by rain gauge. So these two variations what it makes us clearly how to identify and know what is the maximum and minimum that shows regarding climograph or climatograph. For any given place, like variations what we find the differences. Suppose if you take Jaipur, Leh, New Delhi, Chennai, northern states are different to southern states, western states are different to eastern states, northeasterly states, southwestern states. So such type of climate, such type of variations that we can observe are known here, especially related to one what we are noticing regarding this climograph and climatograph. So that all are the things what it makes us clear. So what is clear means North India is different to South India. So not only the climate, even the food what they take. The people prefer their like what we call wheat, chapati. But whereas the southern India, the people prefer the one what we call paddy. So that variations not only based upon climate, even the food what they take, even the dress, even the lifestyle of the people, we can make more comparison. That all are only the one what it says and knows about the differences, what it has been differentiated. So such type of impact, what all these things called about climate and as well as weather. So that was the impact what we are going to be learn, and on the various graphs we can show that what temperature, like every day what we are seeing in the television news, like the following metropolitan cities, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, Hyderabad. What is the maximum? What is the minimum? So that variations, whether it is related to temperature, whether it is related to rainfall, all these things graphically we can represent over here. That all what it denotes the one what we call climate and weather. So after that forward, the next what we are discussing about the one called factors influencing climate and weather. So like freak weathers, offshoot weather, whatever we are finding, sudden monsoons took place, crops failure, most of the farmers suicide. As we are listening all these things, so that means it is very clear that how much the farmer is going to be depend upon that, especially the people who are there to the sea coast, like a fisher folk, whoever they are practicing the one what we call fishing net. So these are the things like the people who absolutely they depend upon one what we call climate of India. And no doubt about that, Indian climate what we are following is monsoon type of climate. So such type of variations. Like if you observe there the differences between Chennai and as well as Delhi. So here, especially the thing what you can notice here means like related to the one Chennai being the three sides where the sea is covered, like Bay of Bengal, Indian Ocean, the other side where the sea is covered. But whereas if you see about Delhi, which is very closer to the Himalayas, so such type of variations we can make. So that what North India is different to South India, as you know that. So such type of variations that can be made, it clearly shows the differences, how we can make the two differences related to Chennai and as well as Delhi. So all these are only the impact or the difference what we find. So even few regions like what we call rain shadow region, like if one area the rain is going to be received, the other area will be dry, and if other area is going to be wet, the other area will be dry. That we can even call as rain shadow region based upon the major landforms like mountains, plateaus and plains. So that was the impact what we are going to be find here. So such type of differences are only here related to two states, like if you notice. So that variations. So what are the factors which are going to be influencing climate and weather? These are the factors. The first factor is latitude. The next one is land-water relationship. Third one is relief, and the fourth one is upper air circulation. So the equator which divides the two equal halves. Equator which divides the two equal halves. The part which lies to the north side is called northern hemisphere. The part which lies to the south side is called southern hemisphere. These are the two divisions what equator is going to make, two equal halves. Like from equator to 23.5 degree towards the north, what we call Tropic of Cancer. The same towards the south, the 23.5 degree Tropic of Capricorn. Tropic of Capricorn. So these are the two differences what we are making, northern side and the southern side. Equator which makes two equal halves. The part which lies to the north side, northern hemisphere. The part which lies to the south side is called southern hemisphere. The part from the equator to 23.5 degree towards the north is called Tropic of Cancer. 23.5 degrees towards the south is called Tropic of Capricorn. So here what I want to make you clear is that, so these are the divisions what we can make differences. Equator, Tropic of Cancer, temperate zone. And coming to the north side, what we call polar region, poleward region. So these are the three variations like east, west, north, south. Usually how to pronounce this means like northeast, southwest. Northeast, southwest. So these are the two differences what it makes. So based upon this, let you know about the one what we call latitude, or otherwise called distance from the equator. So among the factors influencing the climate and element what we are discussing in this, the first important factor is latitude. Latitude, otherwise called distance from the equator. So in these, if you look at in India, the southern part lies to the tropical belt, closer to the equator. So like if you see the part which is appearing, which is connected to Tropic of Cancer, from equator side if you see, this is the tropical belt. Generally, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn we call. So these are only related to one what we call tropical belts. When we compare to temperate belts, these are called tropical belts. So that is what it says. India, southern part lies to the tropical belt, closer to the equator. Climate of Kanyakumari, Bhopal or Delhi. So like if you make the comparison of different states, all states will not have the same. Like if you look at there in the class, average, above average, below average, like how we can make the variations. Here also moderate, above the moderate and below the moderate. So these are the differences what we can make in all aspects what we can find. And here India is roughly situated over there, 8 degrees and 37 degrees, 37 minutes to the north latitude of the country. So this is roughly the location of India, the given globe, what it makes us clear. And here that all shows us clearly how these are the part in which taking part That is what we call latitude. Latitude is nothing but what we call distance from the equator. So this is the first factor, what it makes us clear to understand such type of differences related to one what we call distance from the equator, or otherwise called latitude. And coming to the next factor, what we call it as land-water relationship. What is the relationship between the land and water? That's what we are knowing here. So the climate influence on the land and water, we find various variations. Like the comparison, if you see, the sunlight observes nature of the surface. So the land and water, it have its own regions. Like if you find the darker areas, that will be heavily vegetated region. Like if you see snow and ice to be a good reflector. So these are the comparison, like what we can make darker areas and as well as snow and ice to be good reflector. So there in this, like land breezes and sea breezes. Land breezes, sea breezes, how can you make this? Land to the sea, land to the sea, called land breezes, sea to the land, sea breezes. The water which floats are based upon the direction of the wind, how it can be made. So that is only the one what we call direction of the wind. Moving air is called wind, as I said to you earlier. So in this direction of the wind of the coastline, what will be the impact of the effect means moderate influencing of climate. How these are the impact which we can see means variations of summer and winter. So all these are the comparison, like similar places, same latitude and altitude, we can appreciate all these effects on the sea. So that all are only the one what it says us clearly, how these variations which we can see or understand about the one what we call land-water relationship. So to make it clear, with one illustration you can understand that what we are seeing in our daily life. Like if you compare between summer and winter, as you know that in summer days are longer, nights are shorter. Like in winter if you see, days are shorter, nights are longer. And like usually when we are there in the winter season, by 5:30 everything will be dark and we feel cloudy. Like that is what the impact. If you see the same in summer season, the sunlight will be available up to 7. So these are the variations. So all these are only related for what means climate influencing the factors. So like latitude and as well as altitude. So that was the reason we can appreciate this latitude and altitude. All the regions are not similar. Different regions, different climate, different people, different taste of food. All these are the habituation, like people where they settle. So these all are not similar to one. So all these are the differences which we can come to know, that all what it makes the impact, how this latitude or distance from the equator which making us, and at the same time land-water relationship, it makes us. These all are the variations. Not only that, suppose if you see the water in the well, in winter season when we drag the water, so of course nowadays we are having the pump set, when you switch on, how we feel the water means a lukewarm. Same water if you see in the summer season we feel very cool. So that is the variation. This is also one type of factors. Like generally whatever we are observing, it's true. Like fact, if you test that, we can find the same experience. So all these are only the things how we can make a comparison related to land-water relationship and as well as latitude. So that what it says clearly, as I said for you, in summer days are longer, in winters days are shorter. In summer like days are shorter, in winter nights are longer. So just quite opposite to that. What I mean to say is that in summer days are longer means winter days are shorter. So all these are the variations what we are personally experiencing that. So in such a manner, like various examples we can take in our daily life that all are supporting for one, these are the two factors. Coming to the next factors influencing for the climate and weather, the third factor what we call relief. Relief, otherwise called altitude. Basically, most of the children, they get confusion the word when they listen to latitude, altitude. Latitude is nothing but distance from the sea. Altitude is nothing but height. You have to avoid this confusion. So, relief are otherwise called altitude. As in the first lesson, we have already discussed about relief features. So in these, what happens over here? Like temperature decreases as altitude increases. This, how can we observe means, like when we take a bicycle, when we are going to be pumped, when we pressurize that, when air is inside, then ultimately with that pressure automatically that will be uplifted. The handle of the pump will be uplifted. So that is what it says. Temperature decreases and altitude increases. Temperature decreases, altitude increases. So that's what it makes clear. Hence, these are only the one what we call relief features, like mountains, plateaus and plains. All regions are not similar. So in this connectivity, like Shimla, Gulmarga, Nainital, Chakra-4, Darjeeling, all these are having a cool climate. So what was the speciality of this means? Even in the summer season, even in the summer months also, we experience the same cool feeling. So that feeling will be observed only because of what means relief features. So that was the reason where the people were unable to bear such type of high temperature. So people, they preferable to go to resorts like Shimla, Gulmarga, Nainital, Chakra-4, Darjeeling, Nainital. All these are the various etc. etc. The people, they preferable to go to that seasons. And not only that, even if you see like Kodaikanal, Udagamandalam, otherwise called Ooty, have cooler climate. So all these are the comparison what we can make the regions which are closer to the sea and those are far. As we know that we have already learned in the lower classes, like the regions which are closer to the coastal areas, and within the coastal region, like what we find interior part is called continental. Tamil Nadu, if you see, Andhra Pradesh, if you see, these are related to coastal. But whereas our Telangana region, which is there internal, that is nothing but continental. So these are the variations what we can make all these differences. So such type of comparison we can make all these, how we can find the variations. Like north part is different to south, east part is different to west. So all these are only the one. And here, in all these relief features, these all are only the one what it makes us clear how this altitude which is taking part over here. And the next important feature what we are going to learn about the factor upper atmospheric circulation. Before we discuss about upper atmospheric circulation, the equator which divides the two equal halves from 0 degree equator to the 90 latitudes, from equator to the south 90, 180, towards the east 180 longitudes, towards the west 180 longitudes, 180, 360. So why I am correcting here is, the reason is, like if you see the northern hemisphere of the subtropical pressure belts, which they are going to be moved from northern hemisphere to the region which is related to subtropical high pressure belt. Generally in 9th standard you have learned equatorial low pressure belt, subtropical high pressure belt, subpolar, temperate and polar zones. These are the equatorial belts what we can find. So in this comparison, in northern hemisphere, subtropical high pressure belt. So northern hemisphere, northern part where you are going to find the subtropical high pressure belt. In that region, we get permanent winds. The winds, how you get winds, that will be permanently whatever you are getting. This is towards the eastward direction. This is towards the eastward direction. This is the rough diagram to understand clearly what I am trying to make my presentation. So this is only to make you clearance how this atmospheric circulation is going to be flow towards the equator. And after that, the wind which are going to be blow from equatorial region to low pressure belt area, then such type of winds are nothing but what we call trade winds. So this is the one what we can notice only based upon air circulation. As I said, moving air is called wind. So low, high, low, high. What is this low high means? Equatorial low pressure belt, subtropical high pressure belt, subpolar low pressure belt, polar high pressure belt. These are the divisions makes us clear how these winds which are blowing from equatorial region to low pressure area of the belt which makes the one what we call trade winds. And after that, here these winds in which, especially the wind which is derived from German word trade. Trade is nothing but track. This is very very important in your annual examination point of view or the home final examination. This question was several times asked. What do you know about the German word? German word is nothing but trade. Trade is nothing but track. So in our country, like if you see these winds, northeast, southwest. So there is the winds which are blowing from northeast direction. To make you clear, northeast direction, then such type of winds are nothing but what we call trade winds. So that all are the impact in which what we are finding, especially about the climate of India. All these are only a part and parcel of one what we are discussing about the one called climate of India. So such type of impact which makes us clear how these factors are going to be influenced. Not only that, after that if you see about the climate of Indian movement, how these upper air currents which in movement which blow like inwards, outwards, like otherwise incoming, outgoing, the wind direction you can see that whatever it comes inward, outward. So these are only what it says means the winds, how they are going to be blown, incoming, outgoing, otherwise to make you clear, incoming and outgoing. So in such a manner, the upper air currents which they are going to move, then such type of air currents are nothing but what we call jet streams. And these jet streams, how it is going to be blown is very fast. Like train have its own fast, bullet have its own fast. Like each vehicle have its own speed, how we have to maintain. So like here, these jet streams are going to be flow very fast around about 12,000 meters above the mean sea level. That is the calculation what we make, and that is the factor what we call also altitude. Altitude is nothing but height. So in such a manner, when these are going to be moved, here especially the speed of winds during summer season, moving is called wind, and these winds how they are going to be movements based upon the speed and velocity. That is round about 110 kilometers per hour in summer season, and the same speed of winds which are going to be blow in winter season, that is round about 184 kilometers per hour. So these are the two variations. In summer 110 kilometers per hour, in winter 184 kilometers per hour. So such type of variations what it makes, that shows clearly what it says about upper atmospheric circulation. And hence if you see from the equator towards the Tropic of Cancer 23.5 degrees Celsius, just if you add 1.5, then nothing but 25 degree towards the north latitude, such type of upper atmospheric circulations are going to be found, and all these are only the one what we call that as factors influencing the climate and weather. So that was the importance. This is what it describes clearly regarding the factors.